It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag on boats, and I'm coming to you guys live from Coast to Coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. Welcome, 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 welcome. Feel free, hit the subscription button, the notification bell, share this live stream with your friend, family, and followers. If you want to further support the channel, you can hit the join membership button on YouTube. Remember, membership has its privileges. You can also super chat. You can super sticker, and based on where you see this presentation, I'm live on Twitch. I'm also live on Facebook. You can holler at your boy on Twitch, bits, sub me some, show me some love by showing some support by giving me some of your subs or donating some of your subs. I don't know the correct procedures on Facebook, but it is what it is. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Hope everyone's having a very productive Friday morning. All right. So got all that stuff on out of the way. Let's attack the issues. Okay. First and foremost, let's talk about YouTube. It's going to be ushering in a new policy. And I think it starts July the 15th, if I'm mistaken. And with this new policy, they have changed the way how content creators can create content. Okay. So they're trying to step away from people that are, not really, they want to really focus on original content that you originally put out. Okay. And they kind of want to step away from the AI type content, the copywritten content, the faceless, no face, no case type content. And they kind of want to step away from all that stuff. Okay. So for an example, let's talk about AI generated content. We've all seen videos on our timeline. Like, for an example, someone says that they're leaking footage of the new Avenger movie, and it's nothing but AI content throughout the whole presentation. Okay. They want to get rid of that. All right. Just say, for an example, someone creates an animated AI video, and they're using the voice from some previous content that they don't own to recreate this animated video. Case in point, Samuel L. Jackson and Bernie Mac, the scene of Soul, I think it was Soul Brothers. It was a movie back in the day. God rest his soul, Bernie Mac. Well, someone has made an animated video of that, and they're posting it on YouTube on their channel. The algorithm is constantly trying to promote this video. They're getting all types of views, all types of subscribers. They're making all type of moolah on some content that's really not theirs. Okay. For another example, like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal inside the NBA. Someone has generated some content using their voices, but using the animated portion. And like I said, they're making money off of it. They're profiting off of it. And the YouTube algorithm promotes this type of behavior, promoting this type of content. So YouTube is pretty much stepping away from content creators doing stuff like this. And I feel like there's going to be loopholes in this in this new policy. We all know of these channels that do 24-hour fireplace live streams, or 24-hour black screens, or 24-hour having music playing throughout the presentation for 24 hours, spiritual videos and things of that nature, where you don't see the actual face of the content creator. You just got 24 hours, and it's pretty much in a loop. I feel like that type of content, I think YouTube will continue to allow people that make that type of content to continue to make that type of content. All right. um, and like sports podcasts. There's like a lot of sports podcasts that you don't see the actual face of the person. Now it's live. um, the person is using their actual voice. I think that, or like gaming podcasts and things of that nature, where the content creator is not using their image. It's just a pretty much a screen with their podcast name on it, or whatever the case may be. I feel like as of right now, and this is just me assuming, as of right now, they're going to figure out to allow that type of content to remain, because ultimately it's original content, but you don't see the person's face. With the fireplace and the black screen and the raining videos, I'm not too quite sure on that. I feel like some channels are going to get a pass, while other channels, the struggle's going to be real for those channels. So basically, YouTube is pretty much, in a nutshell, getting rid of lazy content creators that all they do is copy and paste a celebrity's live stream or celebrity's TikTok, and they're making content from that. They're just cutting and pasting different videos that they get off of social media, and they put it on their YouTube channel, and they make a profit off of it. That's basically the inner workings of this policy. So if you're that type of individual or that type of content creator that's generating that content and you're making money off of it, it's going to be difficult for you to do that. Now, they didn't go into full details how they're going to do this. What are the procedures? What are the policies? Are you going to get penalized? You're going to get a strike on your channel, or your channel's going to get deleted? They didn't go into a lot of those details, but to me, YouTube is going back to rewarding content creators that are making original content. Okay, such as myself, I make original content, but it's hard for me to get a footing in the algorithm, because you guys know my saying: the algorithm know of me, but it just doesn't know me. But it's hard for me to get into the algorithm machine when you got massive channels, massive videos, 24/7, 7 days a week, generating this content, and it's not even their content. All right. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of content creators in the comment section, as well as everyone else's comment section, talking about, well, my amended rights are being violated. My rights as a citizen are being violated, because I should be able to react to different videos and different subject matters, even though the video and the subject matter don't necessarily belong to me. And YouTube, what they're saying is they're not, taking away anyone's rights. It's just they're not going to promote that type of content. They're not going to promote those types of channels. So if you got 30, 40, 100,000 subscribers, this new policy is really not going to affect you. You should have enough subscribers in your community to continue for you to make that type of content, and for you to continue to get paid off of that content. It's just YouTube is not going to recommend your channel nor recommend your video. I think that's the process of what YouTube is going to be doing for the foreseeable future, because they're getting there are big time companies such as Disney, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, Hulu, Netflix. There are a lot of big time studios, big time media companies that are coming to YouTube like, hey, what's the dealio? I mean, you got all these content creators stealing our content and putting it on their channel. Y'all should do something about it, or we're going to take you to court. There's several ways to lose money in a business. Now, YouTube, they continue to strive, and they get the numbers, they get the moolah. There's money on the floor. I get all that. But for all that money on the floor, you got to pay so many different people to continue to keep this engine going. And one of the people that unfortunately you're going to have to pay is these media groups, these media companies, these large studios that are coming to you as YouTube as a corporation, and they're, you know, threatening to take you to court because you got so many content creators stealing and taking their content. Like, there's like an AI of it's like a vlog. It's like someone made an AI generated video of Spider-Man vlogging through New York City, or the Joker and Batman vlogging through YouTube. New York City or Gotham City. And those characters are, I know the person that's generating their content does not own these characters. They do not own these characters. So you can't generate content off of characters that you don't own. All right. So yeah, they're cracking down on, YouTube is cracking down on content like that, because even though you know, there are some, you know, AI videos out there that are kind of entertaining, but at the same time, that entertainment comes at a cost. And these larger corporations, these larger media companies, these larger news outlets, they're seeing this and they're threatening to take YouTube to court, or they're already in the process of taking YouTube to court. Okay. So it's, you know, YouTube had to do something. If they didn't do anything, then this was going to, you know, continue to happen. It was going to be a bigger and bigger problem. You know, like, there's a lot of content creators out there. They steal content from like people like me and others, and then they do like reactional videos. They just take certain clips of certain portions of live streams and videos, and then they copy and paste that content. And there's little to no effort as far as the content creator, you know, saying something or showing their face to let them know that this is all their content. They're just utilizing portions of someone else's content. So yeah, YouTube is going to crack the whip on that. A lot of you lazy content creators out there, yeah, y'all pretty much, when y'all solve this policy, y'all are pretty much shaking in your boots like, oh man, what we gonna do now? How we gonna live? How we gonna eat, man? YouTube is back in town, man. YouTube not gonna let me go. YouTube not gonna let me copy and paste other people's content that I don't even own. So a lot of you guys are gonna be boohoo crying, gonna make it. To be honest with you, this is a perfect opportunity for you guys that make lazy content, for you to actually make your own content and talk about this policy. Tell them what you think. Tell them how you feel. Tell them how it's, you know, hurt. You know, you're not being allowed your rights, or you feel like this material, even though you don't own it, you should have an option to utilize this material. So a lot of you lazy content creators out there that just copy and paste other people's content, now's the time to start making these videos and letting your voice be heard to YouTube. Who knows? YouTube might, you know, let you live, you know, allow you to continue to make that content. But I think it's bigger than that. I think the algorithm, they're going to put codes in the algorithm that's going to finally allow original content creators the opportunity to use the algorithm machine. To their channels are going to be featured. Their content is going to be featured. It's going to be pushed out front and center for the algorithm to, you know, send it out to other people that are utilizing YouTube. So that's good for original content creators. As far as people that don't make their own content and steal other people's content, I consider it lazy content. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's still lazy content. You know, maybe the algorithm is not going to push your video or push your channel to the masses out there. So yeah, a lot of you guys that are making that type of content, I think now you need to start whatever you had that you was going to upload. You need to go and upload that stuff now, because when July the 15th comes rolling around, we don't know the implications or the impact these new policies are going to be for each individual content creator or each individual platform on YouTube. It's a wait and see approach. But yeah, I would, if you want to continue to, continue to do videos on YouTube, you have to figure out how to get in where you fit in with the rules. All right. And like I said, people are going to comment, they're going to say this, that, and the other. Oh, that's not totally accurate what you're saying. Or, I have this amendment right to critique or utilize this video for educational purposes. You know how you guys been typing, you keyboard warriors, you type in the comment section and you talk about how, this will affect my channel, but this is the reason why it's going to affect my channel, but this is the reason why it shouldn't affect my channel. Okay, so YouTube, it's about time YouTube start promoting people that's actually producing original content. So congratulations on YouTube. That's a thumbs up for me. May not be a thumbs up for a lot of people out there, but hey, you got to get into where you can fit in. All right. So moving on, before we move on, I first like to say this. If you're watching this presentation on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, you want to comment galore, just post your comment. I will start reading you guys' comments at the end of this presentation or in between certain topics, depending on how many people comment. If you watching this on YouTube, you're going to have to subscribe to my channel in order to comment. Okay, so I was going to do this earlier on Too Early for This podcast, but now since I got 100 episodes, you guys can just comment galore on the 100 episodes. But all the episodes moving forward, you'll have to be subscribed to this channel and subscribe at a certain time or at a certain length for you to comment in the comment section. Okay. Now, if you're watching this on Twitch, if you're watching this on Facebook, you can just comment away. I'm not sure. It should allow you guys to comment, and I should be able to read your comments. But if I didn't read if your comments don't show up on Twitch or on Facebook, you can comment at the end of the presentation or just get at me on my social media handles, and we'll try to figure it out. Okay. So moving on from that story to the next story, man, SeaWorld. SeaWorld ain't what SeaWorld used to be like back in the day. SeaWorld was, if you haven't been to SeaWorld, it's a combination of Disneyland, Six Flags, and the zoo. And normally in SeaWorld, you get to see these sea creatures perform with, perform at this large scale pool. This is pretty amazing. If you have kids, if you are a young family, I suggest you to go to SeaWorld, particularly if you got young kids, because it's going to be PG theme type of entertainment. It's going to be clean entertainment, particularly if you have kids and if you have kids that love animals or kids that are wondering about different kinds of animals. I recommend taking them to SeaWorld. Well, SeaWorld, they're in the game of not only still doing that, but they're also in the game of showing other types of performers and other types of entertainment. Now, I haven't been to SeaWorld in many moons. Okay. Now at SeaWorld, they have performers. And when I saw this, I'm going like, it just blew my mind. I would have thunk this type of performance will be happening at SeaWorld. But now at SeaWorld, they got Soulja Boy performing at SeaWorld. They got Bow Wow performing at SeaWorld. They got all the 90 artists performing at SeaWorld. They got Genuine. Let me see who else they had. Color Me Bad. For those out there who've been living on a rock, I like to explain. Color Me Back used to be this R&B group, and they used to have this hit song called "I Wanna Set You Up." So that's that group. You got Tretch from Naughty by Nature. So that's basically indicating to you that the other two members are not going to be in this presentation. And I think I know why, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, they got the biggest attractions. They got Soulja Boy and they got Bow Wow. And man, the struggle is real out here for a lot of these mid-level type of performers or mid-level type of artists, because I talked about how, you know, after the pandemic, when the pandemic was going to be over, there was going to be a period where when everyone starts performing live, they're going to be making a lot of money. And that's pretty much what everybody did. Soon as the recommendations of the pandemic ban was over with and everyone was allowed to go back out and live their lives, I felt like for 6 months to a year, you kept noticing a lot of people going back on the road, making all types of money. And I said at that time, it's so many people oversaturating going back out on the road, because you got to realize these people weren't making money during the pandemic. And a lot of these artists are, wasn't making their money. The majority of their money, the majority of their profits come from being on the road. Definitely ain't coming from streaming. Snoop Dogg said that you don't make a lot of money just streaming music. Okay. So if you don't have a merch line, if you don't have some type of line promoting, or if you're not doing other things, you better be on the road. Like, there's a lot of artists, all they do is perform. They make music and then they perform. So, like, yeah, when the pandemic was over, you had all types of artists going out, and I felt like that pretty much crashed that market. You understand what I'm saying? It was so many people going out at once. Before the pandemic, everyone was taking their time going out on the road. Everyone didn't want to be on the road with some other big performer. So everyone was waiting when that performer was no longer on the road or no longer performing in this area, then they would go to that area, or they would go to that part of the world. It was like once the pandemic was over, the floodgates opened. Everyone was out there performing. And that was great for us as fans, because we got to see an abundance of a lot of artists that we would have had to wait to see, but all the big name artists came out there and performed. And I felt like that was the beginning of the end of making your money on the road, because it was oversaturated. All right. And a lot of these cats, such as Bow Wow, such as Soulja Boy, they would stay on the road constantly. Okay, because that's how they made their money. I know a lot of people see them on TikTok or on Twitch. They come out with a different song. They collaborate with somebody. They come out with a different album. But none of those resources are generating a boat ton of money. They get the mass production of their money from performing. Okay, so I felt like when everyone started performing, you start seeing these mid-tier performers that would constantly be on the road. The struggle was real for those people, such as Bow Wow and Soulja Boy. I mean, the last time Bow Wow was on a major tour was at Millennium Tour with him, B2K, Omarion, and some other people. So that was the last time I ever saw Bow Wow on a major tour. Okay, and since then, he's been trying to get back, in touring, going at these festivals and stuff like that. But a lot of these performers are like, if you can't get a main production team to do a worldwide tour or just a tour in general, if you can't get anyone to put money behind your tour that way, then you do the festivals. And since there's so many people going to festivals, these mid-tier people such as Bow Wow and Soulja Boy, they have to do the circus route. They will have to go to, state fairs, circuses, and hey, circuses, even real talk, you can make some mad money, particularly with Ringling Brothers. If you're part of that production, you're making some decent money. Or if you're going to Vegas have a lot of these hotels that will have you slotted in. You can make major money doing that. These casinos, you can make major money doing that. But you got to realize a lot of these guys, a lot of the A tier guys are gobbling up those type of venues. So only things left are the venues that no one else wants. And SeaWorld is one of those venues. I can't imagine Soulja Boy and Bow Wow making a ton of money performing at SeaWorld. Now, I feel like with Soulja Boy, he has no choice but to go this route. Because remember, Soulja Boy got sued by his personal assistant, and he lost millions off of that. Not to mention, he's been losing money hand over fist for the past couple of years. As even though you see Soulja Boy on social media, even though you see Soulja Boy doing live streams and see Soulja Boy on Twitch, that type of he's not making a lot of revenue doing that, and that's not going to help him get out of the hole. So you're going to start seeing Soulja Boy at SeaWorld. You're going to start seeing Soulja Boy at these state fairs. You're going to see Soulja Boy at a lot of these small tier venues, and he's piecing money together to generate some type of money. People got to eat, bills got to get paid, people got responsibilities, so you got to get into where you can fit in, or unless you want to do a 9-to-5 working at McDonald's. I can imagine seeing Soulja Boy crank that Soulja Boy at McDonald's. So I don't see Soulja Boy doing that. But yeah, that did not surprise me when I read the press clippings that Soulja Boy is at SeaWorld. When they said Bow Wow was going to be at SeaWorld, that didn't surprise me as either. We look at Bow Wow and Soulja Boy, they haven't made any new music in many moons. So this move should have been, we should have expected this move. Color Me Bad, that's an old 90s group. You expect them to make a move like this. Tretch from Naughty by Nature. There's no huge demand for these types of artists. So, of course, they're going to make moves like this. Genuine, of course, he's going to make, even when Genuine was in his prime, I remember seeing Genuine at the state fair when he was in his prime. So this is nothing new to Genuine. Genuine hits all the venues, okay? Because, I think Genuine is a smart individual. He's still going to do something on a grand scale if there's an opportunity to do that, like on a major tour. But if he can, not be the headline and be sort of part of the tour, he would do that. And he's always been known, he's a very humble individual that he's willing to do tours whenever and wherever. Okay. That's how you make your money. There's nothing shameful about making your money. Okay. So, those were not big surprises to me, in my humble opinion about it. But I just thought it was weird that Soulja Boy, crank that Soulja Boy, make her clap Soulja Boy, is at SeaWorld. How the mighty has fallen. Okay. But hey, you got to get into where you can fit in. Okay. You got to get in to where you can fit in. So, moving on from that topic, I have other topics as well. All right. First and foremost, I want you guys to hit the subscription button, the notification bell, share this live stream with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this channel as well as this content in the YouTube algorithm, because you guys know YouTube know of me, but it doesn't really know me. Also get me going, popping on Twitch as well as Facebook. Okay. There was something else I wanted to talk about before we get into the average topics. I wanted to talk about And you know, everyone was talking to me on social media. I did a video, also did a live on TikTok. You don't stop, but everyone was telling me about the situation about Drake, and people felt like, you know, there's a lot of content creators such as myself that was really hard on Drake when he rolled out his campaign, his What Did I Miss? He streamed it last week. The video came out on Independence Day. That's the anniversary of when Kendrick's video, They're Not Like Us came, premiered on July the 4th. And people talking about, you know, Drake is now got messages and meanings, not only through his lyrics, but through the videos. Check out Nokia, which I did. What Did I Miss? He's got hidden messages on that as well. And to me, I say this, when I feel like people don't have the same energy for different artists. Like when one artist does it, like when Kendrick was doing these hidden messages in his clothing and through the video presentations and through his lyrics and through his music, a lot of you guys, you know, was saying in abundance that, man, I don't know about this hidden message stuff. Why do I have to replay a song or replay a video 3 or 4 times for me to finally get it? You know, I don't like this conscious rap. You know, there's no place for it. Just say what you got to say and just keep it pushing, keep it moving on. Y'all want that microwave type of info where it doesn't take a lot of time. It's there right in front of you, and you get it right then and there. So when Kendrick was doing this last year, that was what a lot of you guys were saying. Like, hey, I don't like this hidden message stuff that Kendrick is doing through his presentations, through his music, through his lyrics, through his videos. I don't like that stuff, okay? So when a year later, Drake copied and pasted the strategy book of Kendrick, and now he's doing this. Now the same people that didn't like it when Kendrick was doing it, now all of a sudden y'all like it when Drake is doing it. Hey, look, I know y'all got fans. I know y'all fans of Drake. I know y'all fans of Kendrick. But at the same time, y'all need to keep the same energy, okay? You know, it can't be wrong for one individual to do it, but it's perfectly fine and perfectly right when the next individual does it that you like, okay? So, I was not mad at Kendrick messages and his meanings. You know, some of his messages and meanings through his video presentations, I would have to watch it a second and third time, and I'd be like, oh, I get it. I get why he's shown that. I get why he did that. I get why he said that. Okay. I get all that. Okay. And when Drake was doing it with Nokia and with What Did I Miss? I came to the same conclusion. Okay. I didn't get it the first time, but after listening to it a couple of times or watching it a couple of times, I get the message, I get the meaning. Okay, I get it. And if I really want to get it right then and there, there's a lot of YouTube channels that dissect a lot of things Kendrick Lamar was doing last year, and now they're dissecting what Drake is doing this year. Okay, and to me, the same energy I had for Kendrick, and I said it was okay with those hidden messages, I'm gonna have the same energy for Drake when he does it. The only difference is I said in a previous live stream, look, you can't talk about how one guy did it and he did it very successful, and you say how that's wrong to do it, but then you turn around and you copy and paste his strategy. Like, you had an issue with Kendrick doing it, and now Drake, you're doing it. Okay. So I was holding Drake feet to the fire. Like, hey, you got to have the same energy, man. You can't pick and choose. Like, you mad when they do it, but it's cool when you do it. Okay. You know, no toleration. We're not going to tolerate that stuff. Okay. So, a lot of people came up to me and go like, hey, I don't think, you're giving Drake a fair estimate with his video, with his music, and Drake is backing his he's trying to do conscious rap sorta, with hitting messages and hitting meanings. A lot of you people thought that I should have gave him credit because What Did I Miss sounds like something that Drake wrote himself. He didn't have a whole writing team doing that. He's trying to be more authentic. He's trying to be more original. So you should give him some type of credit for that. And I do give him credit for that. It's just, to me, the What Did I Miss sound like a typical Drake song. And it was a low-hanging fruit song from Drake standards, only from Drake standards. If someone else would have came out with this song, this would have been a good to great song for that individual. But somebody like Drake, you have made songs that has this similar style to it, with a similar cadence to it, with the rapping and the singing and the harmonizing. You got classic songs in your catalog that's way better than What Did I Miss? So I'm only judging Drake off of the material that he previously recorded and previously put out. What Did I Miss kind of sort of sounds like No Face. A lot of people are not saying that. What Did I Miss sounds like a remix to No Face. And I like No Face. When he released that song with other songs without the permission of UMG. I like that song. I think that song is hands down better than What Did I Miss? So, I'm just, I know a lot, opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has an opinion. And you don't have to agree to my opinion. And I don't have to agree to your opinion. I just call it like I see it, okay? So, moving on, before we move on, let me take a quick 30-second pause. I'm going to put everything on mute. Okay, that was more than 30 minutes. I got to admit, that was more than 30 minutes, okay? Excuse me, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So I'm just going to go through my timeline of things that that's going on. So Pooh Shiesty's release date from federal prison has been updated to April 11th, 2026, following a 63-month sentence in 2022. So all the Pooh Shiesty fans, he's going to be released sometime next year, okay? So congratulations to Pooh Shiesty. So, you got to do what you got to do. You got to, you got to deal with whatever you got to deal with, okay? Sexy Red says twerking on men is a part of her job. I don't feel like Sexy Red really believes that. I just think Sexy Red is saying this because she wants to be in the algorithm, and Sexy Red has always been known for this, saying controversial things or just saying things in general or just showing videos just to stay relevant in social media. Okay, so that's just Sexy Red being Sexy Red. Sometimes when she talks or when she tweets or whatever, sometimes you just have to just say, "Oh, okay," and just keep it moving. Don't put a lot of thought in it. She wants you to. I think Sexy Red puts a lot of bait out there for a lot of people she knows a lot of people are going to disagree with her. So this is what gets her active and gets her relevant on social media. So hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta look at Sexy Red and go, "Oh, okay, whatever." I heard about this last night. Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion are rumored to be dating. Just like, look, okay, so first of all, I don't feel like people should be in other people's business, particularly with their personal lives, even though a lot of you guys say, well, they're public, so they're lives should be public. Not everything in their lives should be public. Everybody is allowed to have uh, to everyone's allowed to be have a private life. Okay, no matter how big the artist is, or how small the artist is, or how important the person is, or how not important the person is, everyone is allowed to have a private life. With this, I feel like if this is true, they're probably just dating. I don't see this materializing into something serious. I don't see Klay Thompson nor Megan Thee Stallion. Just it's going to last longer than 6 months. And Megan Thee Stallion has always been known to circulate herself with the type of men that she's dating. Okay, so I just feel like they're in a dating state, and to me, Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion, I just don't see them connecting as far as long lasting or stable. Okay, so we'll just respectfully, congratulations, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, I talked about this next article about Drake. Okay, Big Sean denies getting ab surgery amid the online speculations. I just happen to look like a chewed up Tootsie Roll when I'm out of shape. Okay, so I talk about this with Drake, and a lot of fitness experts, a lot of surgeons, a lot of doctors, I'm going to take their opinion over anyone else's opinion. I'm not going to take the opinions of a Drake fan or a Drake stan. I'm not going to take the opinions of a Big Sean fan, a Big Sean stan. I'm not going to take the opinions of anyone in the comment section. I'm not going to take your opinion if you make videos. You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm not going to treat your opinion as substance as being truthful and authentic. So I'm going to take the opinion of the people that's in this medical field. And I cannot find not a single surgeon, not a single person in the medical field, not a single doctor that's saying differently what the majority has already said, that Drake as well as Big Sean are not natties. Okay, they're not natties. This is surgery, and like I said in my last live stream, I really don't care if people want to go under the knife. I don't care if Drake wants to go under the knife. I don't care if Big Sean wants to go under the knife. If they want to have surgery to look differently, I don't have an issue with it. Tisha Campbell, she was ET Entertainment Tonight asked her about her mommy makeover, and she was proud to have it. Okay, and she was excited about having the procedure, and she talked about how she looks has a positive impact on her. Okay, and hey, whatever, if she likes it, I love it. I don't care one way or the other. If she's happy to have this, no one pushed her to have it, then fine. And the same thing goes with Drake and Big Sean. I think this is a lot to do about nothing, in my humble estimation about it. Okay. Bitcoin reached an all-time high. Experts believe Bitcoin could reach 1 million per coin by 2020. By 2030. What I just said, look, take that with caution, take that with a teaspoon of salt, because when you talk about financials, and when you talk about financial business and Bitcoins and things of that nature, they're only using data that echoes their sentiments as of right now, or whenever this article came out. That's not going to be the same a day from now or 10 days from now. So if you're thinking about investing in Bitcoin, I would personally be heavily knowledgeable on that. And like anything with money, it's a gamble. Okay, you might win big, but you also might lose big. So you might want to look at those things, look at those two things before you make a judgment call where you're going to invest all your money into something. Because again, you might make it big and you might lose it all. So yeah, be safe out there. Be careful. Be safe out there. Okay. I heard about this. Akon 6 billion futuristic Wakanda mega city in Africa has reportedly been abandoned. So, Akon, I like some of the ideas of Akon, but one of the things that keep Akon's ideals from actually happening, you got to have resources and you got to have money, lots and lots of money. And I say this to a lot of people. Like when Akon was talking about having his own city, having his own diamond mines and things of that nature, I always say this about people. If Elon Musk is not doing it, then why are you believing an artist can do it with limited resources and limited money? So, but hey, it is what it is. Okay. I don't know that rapper's name. New pictures of Fetty Wap in prison has been surfacing online. He is scheduled to be released in 2027. Okay, congratulations on you, my friend. Yeah, I'm not going to address that one. So hey, Angelo Ball files a divorce from his wife. Her name is, I don't know, I'll butcher people's name on a consistent basis. Well, I'm going to say her last name, Nicole, just weeks after announcing her pregnancy. I don't want to, look, it is what it is, but someone has to say it. There's a lot of guys out there that are faithful to their wives. There's a lot of guys out there that are faithful to a certain extent. And then there's a lot of guys out there who are going to cheat. And then LaMelo Ball is a guy out there who go in and out of different women on the opportunities of landing another woman. And just because you're pregnant, that don't mean you're going to keep that guy. Okay. And he's willing, hey, look, I know he's going to take care of his kids. Hold on. And this is for Nikki, his first baby mama, and Nicole, his second baby mama. A lot of you women need to, utilize the information in front of you. Just because you have a kid with a man, that don't mean you get to keep that man. So you might want to think about how you're going to be moving and put some lot of thought in the guy that you're going to lay with. Okay. Just because, you have a baby by that guy, that don't mean that guy's going to be a stand-up dude. That don't necessarily mean that guy is going to be with you for the long run. He's probably only in it, until he gets out of it, until he finds another situation, because there's going to be always another female. Unfortunately, there's always going to be another female. Like I always say, every summer is an introduction to a big booty freak. Okay, so I guess he found his new big booty freak. Okay, so hey, whatever. All right, but I know a lot of people ain't feeling for her because she stole him from his first baby mama. But hey, it is what it is. Okay, Dwight Howard's wife denied that she wants half of his assets and money in the divorce. I mentioned a prenup first. Why I say prenup? It's a prenup. First, he declined. I do not want any of his assets. I do not want half of anything that he earned or obtained to me. Not a car, not his property, not his business. Okay, have to wait and see, because people talk people talk sassy on social media until they go to court. So we're gonna have to wait to see on how this other shoe drops. I feel like Dwight Howard, if he didn't get her to sign a prenup, then Dwight Howard and her as well, when they go to divorce court, the judge is not going to pay attention to what you say on social media. So I don't know. We have to wait and see on that. But you know, it is what it is. All right, we just leave it like that. Are we just talking about this? And it's official. Starting July the 15th, I was right about the date. Sometimes I be getting my dates wrong, okay? But just because I got the date wrong of when something started or something ended, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to happen, okay? I just got the date wrong, all right? So starting July the 15th, YouTube will only pay creators who are using their real voice and original content. The following will not be eligible for monetization: reused or repurposed videos. We just talked about that earlier. Okay. Copy content. We talked about that earlier, what the definitions of that. Low effort uploads. And I feel like the low effort uploads, that is going to be something that, you know, YouTube is going to determine. They're not going to me, I feel like the low effort uploads, and what they're saying is lazy content. Okay. Just throwing something out there. Okay. I feel like that's something that's a judgment call. And YouTube will just monitor and look at it, okay? Fully AI generated videos. And we talked about that earlier, about how people talk about, oh, I found footage of the new Avengers and I stole it, so I put it on a YouTube channel, okay? Stuff like that. When it's all AI. I feel like AI does have a home with content creators, but fully generated AI, no, there's no place for that. Okay. Now, there has been an amendment added to what I just announced. Okay. YouTube won't be introducing any major changes on July the 15th. However, the platform will strengthen its policy to identify and flag unoriginal content. And we talked about that. This type of content has been inquired about monetization for quite some time. Okay. Now, and that's what I said earlier. I think ultimately this, they're just, you know, I think ultimately YouTube, anything that is copied that is not your content, I think YouTube is going to allow you to make those videos, but you're not going to receive any revenue from it. Or your video will not be deemed as recommended, or your YouTube channel as recommended. So if you don't mind not making no money, and if you don't mind your video being featured on YouTube or being promoted on YouTube, and if you don't mind your channel doing the same as well, you can make those videos. It's just you're not going to make a profit off of it. You're probably not going to get a lot of views off of it, unless you have a massive community or a massive subscriber base that have already been subscribed to you, and they're going to continue to watch your content because they know pretty much what type of content you make. Okay. So I feel like those individuals, they're going to be cool with it short term, but long term, they're not going to be generating and making the views and the money that they were accustomed of making, because they don't realize, a lot of people don't realize this, but when it comes to your audience, and YouTube has the numbers, and this is not me just throwing numbers out in the wind. YouTube has already said that the majority of people that watch your content are not subscribed to your channel. And it's a high percentage. It could be like 90%, 80%, 70%. It's a pretty high percentage of people that happen to see your video recommended and they just tuned in and watched it, and they didn't even hit the like button or even subscribe to your channel. Okay. So a lot of content creators depend on YouTube recommending their video, or somehow your video is in the algorithm. They heavily need that. Okay. So yeah, I talked about it. I'm gonna read some comments about this. Okay, so Team YouTube has said, thanks for sharing this. Just to clarify a couple of things, we recently made major updates to our long-standing YouTube partnership program. Policies to better identify mass-produced reproductive content. Channels using AI to improve their content can still be monetized as long as they follow our policies. Okay, so he says show more. For reusable or repurposed videos, our policies there hasn't changed. Okay, this is straight up bag blocking for a lot of people out there. Okay, that's what one person commented. This is a great thing. Better content's coming, better quality. Yeah, I can believe that. No more AI brain rot. Okay. All right, whatever. Excited to not see AI voices recap flooding everywhere in the timeline. A lot of y'all mad because you use popular sounds to attract the brain rotted videos being recycled by people who are not original creators. Okay. Does this affect people reacting for reaction videos? That's a good question. See what some people say. They might look at it as low effort. It depends, honestly. Well, when you say it depends, honestly, you done lost me. But I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it for you guys, okay? It depends, honestly, because a lot of interesting, insightful comes from good depth reaction videos, but also green screen reaction videos should be safe. LOL. When you say LOL, you really don't believe what you're saying. When you got LOL in your sentence, you don't really believe what you're saying, but it is what it is. And also, if you cut the video and just have segments of you talking, it should be smooth too. How many people does that in their reaction videos? 9 times out of 10, it goes down like this. There's an introduction part where the guy, promotes his channel, tell you about him. You see a video that he's reacting to, and then he reuses that same video and talk over it, and then he goes into the next thing he's reacting. Okay, that's not considered authentic content. That's not original content. I don't have a problem with people reacting to stuff. I used to react to stuff, but normally I would react to it. Okay, normally I would talk about it. I would show a portion of it, and then I talk about it through the rest of the video. You see me more in the video than the actual video itself. I'm not, using someone else's video throughout my whole presentation. Okay, and sometimes I don't even use the video. I just talk about it. Okay. I just talk about what I saw on social media, or talk about what's the popular thing that's talking about, because I feel like that, editing all that stuff takes time, and I don't have that type of time. I'd rather just talk about what then happened, and I talk it, tell you guys from both sides, and I give you guys my opinion, and I keep it pushing and keep it moving on. I feel like that's the better way to make original content. And who knows? I don't think YouTube. We have to wait and see on that one. We have to wait and see on that one. Okay, can I get back? Okay. All right, so we talked about the YouTube stuff. Okay, someone else said, this claim presentation in the image is false while YouTube is updating. Okay, that's a day later, dude. The actual people from YouTube already commented, but hey, it is what it is. That claim presentation in the image is false. While YouTube is updating and it's forcing monetization policies on July 15, 2025, the image misrepresent the claims and includes information that is not part of the official YouTube announcement. Here's a breakdown. And he got his information from AI, okay? No real voice requirement. There is new rules. Oh, man, dude, you just copied. YouTube is cracking down now. All that copy and paste AI, voiceovers, hustle days are up. If you ain't using your real voice or creating something original, it's over for the easy bag. And that's pretty much what YouTube is doing. Hold up. So I talked about that earlier. If you guys want to check that out, go right ahead. So yeah, I'm more want to talk about the YouTube thing. I talk pretty much about the YouTube. Really nothing that I read was okay. I'm not going to talk about that. Saints revealed a new white alternate helmet for the 2025 NFL season. Okay. Okay, I don't want to talk about that. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd like to thank everyone out there who was involved in the live. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I'd like to thank everyone out there that's being very supportive of this live. Thank you very much. For those out there who watch the re-air, I've been noticing when I'm no longer live, the presentation is like in a regular video format. I really do appreciate you guys out there that's still watching in abundance of these videos. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay. As always, if you're on YouTube, rate, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friend, family, as well as your followers. If you want to further support the channel, you can hit the join membership button. You can do super chats, you can do super stickers, even when it's just in regular video form. It doesn't have to be live. Okay. So I really appreciate if you guys do that. People over there on the Twitch side of things, I really do appreciate you guys coming on over, moseying on over to Twitch. Like I said, bits are appreciative. If you want to send subscribers my way, that's fine as well. And on Facebook, I really appreciate you guys' support on Facebook as well. Okay, so that wraps up another episode of Too Early for This podcast. My day one subscribers who've been watching Too Early for This podcast since the beginning of it, you're probably wondering, where have you been? Where have you been? To me, I didn't see this podcast, you know, taking off. I mean, in the beginning, it took off a little bit. It popped somewhere in the middle. It was just not hitting. And then closer to the end, I thought the last video I made, I said I was going to take a break. I didn't see a whole lot of interest in you guys, you know, clamoring for me to come back and do Too Early for This podcast. So yeah, I sort of kind of, you know, stepped away from it. And in the beginning, I was going to take a month off, and it ended up being 2 months and 3 months. And, you know, just, I didn't want to come back, but now I'm back. I will let you guys know the last week of July and maybe the first week of August, or maybe the second week of August, I'm probably not going to do a lot of Too Early for This podcast. Probably I'm making squeeze in one or two, one a week, possibly one every 2 weeks. I don't know, because your boy is very mad busy during those times. And it's going to be very, very hard for me to do a live stream. Okay. So just be wary of that. If I don't come out with anything, I'm gonna try to come out with something. If I do come, it's gonna be like in a short form, maybe 30 minutes the most. And yeah, we have to do it that way to maintain it. I might not be able to chop it up, like show miniature videos throughout the week, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah, just subscribe to me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I have an audio portion of Too Early for This podcast on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast indulgement from. Haven't made any episodes yet, but will make one in the next couple of days, maybe as of right now. Not sure. Okay. But again, it's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. And I'm coming to you guys live from Ghost to Ghost. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. Deuces, guys. Really appreciate everyone that watched the live stream. Okay. Really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Hope y'all enjoy this throughout the rest of the remaining of this week and the weekend. And I'll see you guys next week. Deuces, guys. Deuces.